21-year-old Coco Gauff, DK. That's where I want to go next. You look at Coco Gauff, currently ranked third, ELO rating third, yearly ELO 5. 47-14 overall in the year, tied for the fifth most wins on the WTA Tour. She went 14-3 at the majors, but of course Roland Garros title, fourth most wins at the majors. 35-8 against non-top 20 players, seventh most wins. 12-6 against the top 20, third most wins. 9-5 against the top 10, that's the second most wins. She won Roland Garros, she won Wuhan, but that clay court season, Madrid final, Rome final, Roland Garros title, that's about as good as it can get. 8 quarterfinals in 16 total events. She beat Sabalenka in the Roland Garros finals. She beat Swiatek both Madrid and United Cup, which I don't think is irrelevant. Fourth Tour Finals appearance, all consecutive. She's only 21 years old. It's an elite list of players who have accomplished that to this point in their career. And yet, the double fault percentage, a career high for Coco Gauff, that number one on the WTA Tour. She's double faulted 9.9% of the time this season. 9.9. 1 out of every 10 serves, it's a double fault, free point. And yet, does it really matter if she's winning another major title as she did this season, DK? I defer to you. What are you thinking here?
I think I'm in the place with Coco that you're in with Iga. I think it's an A- season, but if she were to win the WTA Finals, it's a hard A at that point because, you talk about players being able to win ugly. When Coco loses, she loses uglier than maybe anybody. It's like 20 double faults. It's, the forehand's not working. She's she's bereft on the court. But then she is so resilient that this same person, these players, I've said this before on this podcast, I feel like this generation of players are just built differently. These players have withstood losses that individually would have knocked out a player for months and months. I mean, you see the way Coco was playing in the spring in Indian Wells, Miami. That's not someone that you're thinking she's a lock-on to win the French Open. If anything, you're she's a lock-on to take a 6-month break. It's just not this. And not only is she working on stuff, she's working on stuff in real time. She hired, Gavin McMillan to work on the serve motion during the U.S. Open, so that was a bit of a wash. But at the same time, this is a player who I did not expect to win another slam so soon. And yet here she is, a 2-time slam champion. I think she didn't even expect it. I think it solved a lot of self-doubt for her and belief. And that's something that's going to pay dividends for her. She continues to get get even older, say 22, 23. She's still so ridiculously young and has achieved so much and still has so much to improve and yet has put together a slam winning season. So it's hard to, it's hard to judge sometimes because when she's great, she's amazing. And when she's not great, she could be awful. But, again, someone who is, throughout the season has a signature result, whether it's Iga at the United Cup, it's the Roland Garros victory, it's the win in Wuhan, just really from start to finish has had a season to look back on. For all that she'd like to forget, a lot she would be very happy to remember.
It's just, again, it's a fun paradox because on the one hand, you said it, she is an elite competitor. Others may be as good. No one competes better than Coco Gauff and finds solutions. That's why the Brad Gilbert coaching thing made such sense, right? Because the winning ugly, she's so good at just being one shot better than her opponent, regardless of what that looks like in the context of any rally. She has gotten better moving forward. Her volleys are better. She's stronger. You could see that every time I watch Coco Gauff, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that you were only 17 and you were going to continue to fill out and get stronger as every athlete does during the course of their career. And this was someone who always had preternatural athleticism to work with. And yet, Wimbledon through the end of the U.S. Open, just how prominent those struggles felt. And the fact that it's still the same struggles. It's still the serve. It's still the forehand. When the things go wrong, you know what those things will be. And yet, again, you said it. It doesn't fucking matter because then she wins Wuhan. And by the way, semifinals Beijing as well, even if that loss to Anisimova, the way it happened, felt a little, even through that, though. Well, that's what it's coming out of both mouths because on the one side, it's she semis Beijing and finals and wins the title in Wuhan. On the other side, did you see the way Anisimova was able to beat her in that Wuhan semifinal and how replicable, DK, that feels moving forward? Why wouldn't that game plan be available to her, Sabalenka, Rybakina, and all those Serena Williams Power Tennis Country Club style players? It can't. You said it. Everything I said about Swiatek applies to Gauff. So it's just It's the same grade, A minus. So it was the same scale. It's the same reasoning. So I don't have to repeat myself here in the context of the podcast. If you're watching this video on YouTube, shout out to you. I hope you like both mine and DK's setup here today. I'm going to get him. I'll send half of my junk to him, so he'll have it moving forward and will be equal. But you can go listen to my reasoning for Swiatek in that video if this is where you're watching that. Like how I threw in a mid-pod plug. We're going to leave all of that in as we get better. We're going to get better at this, folks, I promise. But for the sake of not repeating myself, you said it, DK. I'm applying the Swiatek standard where if she wins this, the highs are now higher than the questions lingering to where it just has to be an A. Like you said it, 21 years old, she's got 2 slam titles. I didn't see that happening. Did you? I'm sure she'd sign up for that season right now if we went back to January 1st. But there are still questions. This is someone who, again, you said it, like, found the success and yet changed coaches like the day before the U.S. Open. That's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but it's not like an unequivocal good thing. A minus.
Yeah, and when we say, well, if they win the WTA Finals, we'll change our grade. Like, that's not unreasonable for either of them. One is the defending champion and one won the year before that. So, like, it's... And coming in, either of them, to me, have a solid to good shot of winning the title. So this year is not over by any stretch of the imagination for any of the top 3.
I also said
on down.
I think we should hold the Tour Finals with the weight, particularly this year, of a slam title in the context of a season. And if not that, I think we can all agree it's worth at least a boost of a third of a grade. And, like, that's all we're saying here is A minuses become unequivocal A's if these players win the Tour Finals. And, again, both Swiatek and Gauff have done that in the course of their career before. So worth watching for here this year. Yes, A minus feels about right for Coco Gauff. I do